Just as a disclaimer, we want you to know that some of the movies that we will be reviewing were shot in a different time and era where people of race and sex were not treated equally. We understand this and hope you do too. The movies or anything that happened on the sets are not the views of this podcast or what this show is intended to be all about.
Exactly. And we want to give due diligence in presenting the movie and not the views of the cast or directors or anyone involved. But we also feel it's necessary to let the audience know some of the background information to get a feel for what was happening at the time of shooting the film. Again, we hope you understand that we do not agree with everything that went on, and we just want to give out the information. And with that being said, hope you enjoy the show.
Gone with the Wind has captured the imagination and acclaim of the entire world. The screen has never known a love story to compare with this, when Rhett Butler meets Scarlett O'Hara.
I love you more than I've ever loved any woman. And I've waited longer for you than I've ever waited for any woman.
Let me alone.
Kiss me once.
Can't we ever forget that day at 12 Oaks?
Do you think I could ever forget it? Have you forgotten it? Can you honestly say you don't love me?
No, I don't love you.
It's a lie.
Well, even if it is a lie, do you think I'd go off and leave Melanie and the baby?
I'm not cornered. And you'll never corner me, Rhett Butler, or frighten me. You've lived in dirt so long you can't understand anything else. And you're jealous of something you can't understand. Good night.
It's not that easy, Scarlett. You turned me out while you chased Ashley Wilkes, while you dreamed of Ashley Wilkes. This is one night you're not turning me out.
A love affair you'll remember as long as you live, filled with all the fire and fury of the times in which it happened. Gone with the Wind. First picture to win 10 Academy Awards. The most honored, the most talked about motion picture in all film history.
Hello, and welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema, Episode 9. We're going to be talking about Gone with the Wind today.
1 away from 10, that's crazy.
I know. I can't believe we've got people listen to us for 9 episodes. Well, it is 10, actually, if we count the Mother's Day episode.
That's true, yeah.
I'm your host, Jimbo, along with my co-host, Terrence.
Hello.
Who might be falling asleep during this. So, and he just got off work, so we're trying to get this done. Just a heads up, this movie is a long movie. It's almost like 2 minutes shy of 4 hours. So we wanted to do it justice. So this podcast will be a longer episode. So I know some people like to listen while they're at work or driving. So just hang with us.
There'll be multiple commutes to finish this one.
Yeah. And we wanted to make sure we did the movie justice too. So Terrence, are you ready for your question of the day? I gave you a break this week. It's more of a discussion than it is a question. Okay. So, Terrence, I want to know, I wrote down the top 10 grossing movies without inflation.
Okay.
I want to see how many of these you can get. and then I'll run down the whole list at the end with how much they made. So let's see if you can guess any of the top 10 grossing movies.
So I do know one is a given, and that's this movie, Gone with the Wind.
Wrong.
Really?
Wrong. Yep.
Huh. Oh, because not counting for
Not
inflation. You're right.
counting
Okay, no, hold on. Okay, so hold on. Let's restart here. Not counting for inflation. I know Avatar's up there.
Avatar is number 1 with
Yep.
2.788 billion.
Yep. Let's see. Black Panther's up there.
Black Panther's number 10 with 1.342 billion.
Let's see. Endgame should be up there.
Endgame is number 2 at 2.627 billion.
Let's see. Is Titanic up there?
Titanic's number
Yep.
3 at 2.187 billion. You're doing better than I thought you would.
I know. I want to say Force Awakens.
Force
is up
Awakens is number 4 at 2.068 billion.
there. How many is that?
You're halfway home. You got 5. You got
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, number 10.
All right. Now I really got to put my thinking cap on.
I'll give you a hint. 3 more of these are from the Marvel universe.
Okay. So I want to say the first Avengers movie.
Avengers is number 7 with
Yep.
1.518 billion. Sorry.
Let's see. What was another? The first Iron Man?
Nope.
No, I didn't think so. Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron is
Yeah.
number 9.
I think all the collaboration
1.405
ones.
billion. And you only got 3 left. I'll go ahead and give them to you.
Okay,
since
yeah.
This is going to be a long podcast anyway. So we'll just run through them quick. Number 10 was Black Panther. Number 9 was Avengers: Age of Ultron. Number 8 was Furious 7.
Really? Okay, that's
that
a
one
left
kind of
field
surprised
one.
me. Yeah, it was 1.516 billion. 7 was the original Avengers. 6 was Jurassic World with 1.671 billion.
Oh,
And
okay.
number 5 was Avengers: Infinity War. 2.048
That's
billion.
right. I don't know
4
how
was
I
Star
forgot
Wars: The
Infinity
Force Awakens. 3 Titanic. 2 Avengers Endgame, and 1 was Avatar. So, Terrence, I wrote down this fact right here. Kind of shocked me. I was like, man, this is something that you normally wouldn't hear. But I went for an actor fact. So here it is. Woody Harrelson's dad was a hitman and a convicted murderer. He was also suspected of killing JFK.
What?
That's what I was like, wow.
That's insane.
Right.
There's a TV show. I forgot what it's called, but they like dive into people's past and of like celebrities and stuff, and that would be interesting if he was on there and you didn't know that. Be like, oh, by the way,
That's what I did when I read it. I was like, whoa. Also, this day in, I call it movie / whatever history, on May 29th, I believe it was 1943, I forgot to write down, 43 or 42, Bing Crosby records White Christmas, which is the world's best-selling single, estimated at 100 million copies sold.
Huh.
So, now I'd also like to, we're going to go and throw this out here now. I told you last week we were going to have a special announcement. Terrence, are you ready for the special announcement?
Let's do it.
Sorry, we're going to wait till the end of the podcast. That's not what I was going to say right now. But we do have one special listener that emails me all the time or messages me, Samuel Farrell. And if you remember, at the Turtles, we were having some problems about why this movie was rated or worried about the violence. So he sent me this. He said, why so much worry about the violence? He says, I have a theory about why Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles got so much heat for the violence. If you remember the late 80s, there was a hard push for stricter ratings on music and films following the heavy metal music debate hearings and invention of the parental guidance labels. Not sure if that's contributed or not, but the timeline fits. Also, I love that you all covered this film as it was the first movie I saw in theaters when I was almost 5. Now on to the important question, when are y'all covering The Godfathers? I mean, he loves The Godfather, and I'm telling you what, it's going to be coming in June. So just hold your horses. And also, we asked in the Magnificent Seven episode about why is the first thing the Cowboys always did, we go into a saloon. And I was like, it's like every cowboy movie you've seen. So he sent me this. He said, generally the saloon would be the first place cowboys went when riding into town because usually towns were a couple of hours apart. And so the first thing you would want to do is get some food and a drink. He's like, however, Deadwood was more accurate because if you watch it, the first place people head to when coming into camp was the hotel to establish somewhere to stay and also had food and drinks. So, Samuel, thanks for listening. We will be getting your Godfather done. Just hang with me. I'm going by how people gave me their special listener reviews. Or
Email me on my podcast asking me for a favor. A favor we cannot refuse.
So, thank you, Samuel, for continued listening and support. So, with that being said, if we never start, we're never going to finish. So, Terrence, let's go ahead and
jumping right into it.
I have
so much to
like
cover.
50 pages of notes, which I've whittled down to about 38. So, but like Terrence has
Looks like a graduate dissertation, dude.
I put out on Instagram. I said I think this is more notes than I took, wrote in papers my entire high school and college career. So, but Terrence has I'm going to even let Terrence do the cast today because I have so many notes that I wanted my voice not to just give out. So
yeah.
And we will probably take, like in the movie, we will probably take an intermission in this podcast. So stay tuned for the halftime.
Yeah,
all right, Terrence, you ready?
All right, jumping right in. Gone with the Wind. Its release date was January 17th, 1940. Its budget was estimated around $3 million. Really $4 million because we're looking at $3,977,000. So you're looking at really close to $4 million. If you adjust for inflation, that is $72 million that it took, to the budget of the movie. Now, its gross in the USA for what they made was $198 million. So they made their money back so many times over. And then if you adjust for inflation, you're looking at about $3 trillion.
Trillion with a T, not
a
B. Trillion.
That's trillion. And the cumulative worldwide gross, we're looking at $400 million and $7 trillion for inflation.
And
so
that has to
it was a hit both domestically and internationally.
And that has to show you what kind of movie it is. And before we go any further, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there. I know we say in our disclaimer, but this movie was shot in 1939. There is slavery. I mean, not that it's actually, it's there's maids and then there's workers in the field. You know what I mean? So, but I want everybody to know that that's not a thing me and Terrence approve of, and we disagree with our history. So we wanted to throw that out there, but we wanted to also let you know about it, that what's in the movie in case you decide to watch it. So
yeah. It's not very accurately depicted. That would be the best way I could explain that. So moving on, this was directed by Victor Fleming and George Cukor. If you guys remember those names, they were also 2 of the 5 directors that directed The Wizard of Oz. So that's a little fun fact already. The writers were Sam Wood. He was uncredited for writing the credits. And then Margaret Mitchell. The Story of the Old South, Gone with the Wind. Cindy Howard, the screenplay writer. Oliver H.P. Garrett, contributing writer, uncredited. Ben Hecht, contributing writer, uncredited. Joe Swirling, another contributing writer, uncredited. And then John Van Deurten, contributing writer, uncredited. So a lot of uncredited writers, but a lot of writing went into this, which I would imagine, you can't just pop out 4 hours a screenplay and not get help.
Well, right, and I wonder if they divided it up into scenes like the scenes at Terra Plantation, scenes in Atlanta. What I mean?
Exactly. So now we're getting into the technical aspects of the movie. Now, there's a lot of different ones because this movie was released multiple times, as classics do. So, we're looking at a runtime of 3 hours and 58 minutes. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the different run times, but it is interesting seeing a slight difference between each release, both in Sweden, the UK, US. They're not they're like within 10 minutes, I would say. There's like a 10-minute difference between all of them, but they're all different. So I thought that was a little interesting.
I wonder if any of them cut out the intermission.
That's a good question. How long was the intermission?
I don't think it's that long. It's like between 5 and 10 minutes, so
usually.
it could be.
So now I can't give off the re-releases. So it was released in 1940, and it was re-released in 1965, 1985, 1994, and 1989. So it was re-released a lot, and it probably will get re-released again, whenever we come up with new formats like we always do.
Can you imagine like a virtual reality where you could actually go into the movie set or whatever?
That would be interesting.
That would be really crazy.
They'd have to do some crazy research to do that, pull that off. So the sound mix, we're looking at mono, so Western Electric Sound System. This was a color movie. Its aspect ratio was 1.37 by 1. Its camera was a Bell & Howell 2709, and I got a couple fun facts about this camera, actually. One fun fact is when this camera was invented, LA wasn't the hub of movies. Chicago was. And this was back in the 1919, I want to say, 1919, 1920. Chicago was the hub of movies. That's where everybody wanted to film. And then it moved over to LA later. But when this camera was invented by Bell & Howell, Chicago was the center hub of movies, and I thought that was interesting. So this is the first all-metal commercially available 35mm motion picture camera. It was hand cranked, and thus the Bell & Howell 2709. Last little fun fact about this camera is cinematographers hated the B&H viewfinder because it showed the image upside down. All of them were replaced by Mitchell viewfinders, which had a prism system that would basically make the image appear correctly. So I thought that's pretty interesting how they had to interchange some of the parts to replace them with other parts, so then they can film it how they want. That would be sort of jarring, especially like when you're getting moving shots and stuff, and you're seeing everything upside down.
Hey, hold me upside down so I can see how this shot went.
Right, exactly. So moving on, this was a Technicolor 3-strip camera. So basically, it has the 3 different strips that they would impose together so that you can get your color film. This laboratory was Technicolor. Its film length was 6,187 meters, and then some varying lengths with all the releases. The longest being 7,360, which is obviously of all the movies the longest film length of all of them. Yeah,
combined.
Ever. Yeah, exactly. I think the only movie that would come close to being this long is like Lord of the Rings with the extended scenes,
or maybe a TV miniseries that was shot over multiple days.
Oh yeah, of course, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know,
but as far as like a movie, I don't like. This is a long movie. Like I don't know any movie that makes it, except like I said, Lord of the Rings with extended. But even that's only
I believe this is the longest movie in history.
Yeah, and I don't think anything's come close since. Quite the epic tale. So, negative format, 35mm, cinematographic process, spherical, printed film format, 16mm. That's flat BW, IB Tech, LPP, and Eastman. 35mm animographic, 1998 pre-release, and then once again we got a bunch of different ones for all the different releases. Now we're going to jump into the awards. Now there were a lot of awards for this one. Awards after the interruption. So starting right off, Academy Awards USA 1940. They won an honorary award, William Cameron Menzies, for outstanding achievement in use of color of the enhancement for dramatic mood in the production of Gone with the Wind. They also won an Oscar Best Actress in Leading Role, Vivien Leigh. Best Actress in Supporting Role, Hattie McDaniel. Hattie McDaniel became the first African American to be nominated for nominated for and win an Oscar. So that's huge.
That is huge.
Despite what the movie consisted of, still pretty as awesome
that they recognize.
Yeah, and they recognize the how great an actor they were. So that's amazing.
Actress.
Actress, yeah. Well, nowadays they
Right, I know.
act, yeah. But yes, at the time, actress, absolutely. Best director, Victor Fleming. Best writing screenplay, Sidney Howard.
Are these all wins?
These are all wins.
Wow.
So let's see. What is that?
Posthumously.
Oh,
That
okay.
means after they died.
Okay, gotcha. I was like, I'm not familiar with that word there. Okay, so Sidney Howard became. I know some big words. Sidney Howard became the first posthumous Oscar. Okay, so they won an Oscar after they passed away.
Right.
That's interesting and sad at the same time.
And he was the first.
Yeah.
A lot of first in this
Right?
award.
Best cinematography, color, Ernest Heller. Ray Rinhan. I'm going to butcher a lot of these names. Just get that out
Well,
there.
I think they're used to that by now.
Yeah,
If they
exactly.
listen to the podcast.
Best art direction, Lyle R. Wheeler. Best film editing, Hal C. Kern. James E. Newcomb. Best picture winner, Technical Achievement Award, R.D. Musgrave, for pioneering in use of coordinated equipment in the production of Gone with the Wind. They were nominated for Oscar Best Actor Leading Role, Clark Gable. Best Actress in Supporting Role, Olivia D. Havilland.
Haviland.
Yeah. Best Sound Recording, Thomas T. Moulton, Samuel Goldwyn, SSD. Best Effects, Special Effects, Jack Korsgroove, that's photographic. Fred Albin, Sound. Arthur Jones, Sound. Best Music and Original Score, Max Steiner. So lots of awards to go around, lots of nominees. They really killed it that year. DVD Exclusive Awards 2005. They were nominated for DVD X Award, Best Overall DVD for Classic Film.
No, they
Won
won
it.
that. They were nominated for this, and they won for that.
Well, no. DVD Exclusive Classic Exclusive Awards 2005. That's
They were
the
a nominee
event.
for this. Then they won for this. Do you see what I'm saying? This, they were just nominated for. This is the one that they won.
Well, we're done with the Oscars, though.
I know.
Yeah,
but
that's
look,
a whole new section.
This is like this. They won the DVD award for the best overall DVD for the classic film.
Okay. So
For the DVD Exclusive
format-
Awards in 2005, they were just nominated.
Oh, okay. So it's wonky compared to the rest of the format.
Right.
That's why I got that mixed up. I was like, what? Okay. So they were nominated for DVD Exclusive Awards in 2005. Then DVD X Award, Best Overall DVD Classic Film. They were a winner on that one. And then that was for Gone with the Wind, 4-disc Collector's Edition.
Wow.
I wonder how, obviously a good chunk of that, probably first the 2-disc or for just the movie
The actual
alone.
movie, right.
But I wonder what the other 2-disc are. Would it be just a commentary
Maybe it's
from surviving?
Well, facts about the movie, maybe some unseen footage, cut footage.
Maybe.
I don't know. That'd be cool to get.
Well, if you don't own the DVDs, you're in the right place because we got all the facts. All right. The next one, we're looking at the National Film Preservation Board, USA 1989. They were a winner for the National Film Registry.
People's Choice.
Yep, People's Choice Awards, USA 1989. They were a winner for People's Choice Award, Favorite of All-Time Motion Picture.
It's amazing how they're still winning awards
Well into the 80s.
decades later.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. So now we'll jump into the synopsis of the movie, and then we'll go into the cast, which is another long list. Everything is really long about this movie.
I mean,
everything.
yeah.
All right, so jumping into the synopsis. Set during the Civil War and its aftermath, Scarlett O'Hara, a strong-willed daughter of a plantation owner, follows her romantic pursuit of one, Ashley Wilkes, who is married to his cousin, Melanie Hamilton.
Melanie.
Melanie Hamilton. Enter Butler, a rich man who wants to marry Scarlett, who eventually agrees. Will the Civil War tear apart the South? Can Scarlett overcome her love of Ashley to give Rhett her all? Or will her story eventually just fade and become Gone with the Wind?
Dun, dun, dun.
So,
Are you ready for this long list of cast?
yep, lots of butchered names. Here we go. So, starting from the top, we got Thomas Mitchell. Nice name there. Easy name.
Oh, just wait.
Yeah. So Thomas Mitchell played Gerald O'Hara. Then we have Barbara O'Neill, who played Ellen, his wife, as Barbara O'Neill. Vivian Leigh played Scarlett, their daughter. Evelyn Keyes, I want to say, played Cillian.
Sue Ellen.
Sue Ellen, their daughter. Anne Rutherford played Corrine, their daughter. George Reeves, Brent Tallerton, Scarlett's Boo. Then we have Fred Crane, who played Stuart Tallerton, Scarlett's Boo.
She had a lot of booze.
She did. Hayley McDaniel played Mammy, the house servant. Oscar Polk played Pork, house servant. Butterfly McQueen played Prissy, house servant. Victor Jory played Jonas Wilkerson, field overseer. Then we have Everett Brown, who played Big Sam, field foreman. We have Howard Hickman, who played Joan Wilkes.
John Wilkes.
Yeah, John Wilkes. Alicia Rhett, India, his daughter. Next page. Then we have Leslie Howard, who played Ashley, his son. Olivia D. Haviland, who played Melanie Hamilton, their cousin. Rand Brooks played Charles Hamilton, her brother. Carol Nye, Frank Kennedy. I'm just going to go from now on just the name of the actor, actress, and then the name of the character.
Sounds good.
We have Carol Nile, who played Frank Kennedy. Clark Gable? Yeah, Clark Gable, Rhett Butler. Laura Hope Cruz as Aunt Pippi Pat Hamilton. Eddie Rochester Anderson, who played Uncle Peter. Harry Davenport played Dr. Mead. Yeah. Leona Roberts played Miss Mead. Jane Darwell played Miss Merriweather. Yep. Una Munson. Whoa. All right. Played Belle Watling. Paul Hirsch played Yankee deserter. Isabel Joel played Emmy Slattery. Cami King Conlon. Bonnie played Bonnie Blue Butler as Cami King. Eric Linden played Ammutation Case. J.M. Kerrigan played Johnny Gallagher. Ward Bond played Tom, Yankee Captain. Jackie Moran played Phil Meade. Cliff Edwards played Reminiscent Soldier. Lillian Kimball Cooper played Bonnie's nurse in London. Yakima Kennett played Renegade. Marcella Martin played Kathleen Calvert. Louis Jean Hitt played Hungry Soldier, holding Boo Wilkes. Mickey Kuhn played Boo Wilkes. Olin Howland played a carpetbagger businessman. Irving Bacon played Corporal. Robert Elliott, Yankee Major. William Backwell as a mounted officer. And finally, Mary Anderson as... what does that say there? That's your writing there.
We're at
Very bottom.
Maybelle Merriweather.
There you go.
Terrence, you survived through it.
Somehow. That's
one thing
not my best reading, I will admit.
But one thing I do like about this movie is at the beginning, it lists like the characters, like the players in that scene, like the players at Terror Plantation, and it'll list them all. Like it'll list Scarlett O'Hara, you know what I mean, and it'll list them all. And then it'll say in Atlanta, the characters in Atlanta, the characters in Charleston. That's what I really like, so you can kind of follow along. So I figured we'd start off with some taglines for this movie before I dive into the biography of one of the actors. The taglines, I found 5 of them. For the thousands who remember its unparalleled drama, action, and romance. For the new thousands to whom the wonders will be revealed for the first time. Breathtaking spectacle. Inspired acting by the greatest cast ever assembled. The screen's most exciting love story. The most talked about motion picture ever made. Now in 70mm widescreen and full stereophonic sound. Winner of 10 Academy Awards, which Terrence has already went down to. The greatest romance of all time, and the most magnificent picture ever.
Well, I do declare, Mr. Bogart.
Really? So, I wanted to highlight somebody that's well known for this movie because he was quite a character. So I chose Clark Gable.
Okay.
He was a very famous actor back in the day. So he was born February 1st, 1901 in Cadiz, Ohio. He died November 16th, 1960 in Los Angeles, California, from coronary thrombosis, which is a blockage of the heart, or the flow of blood to the heart caused by a blood clot in a coronary artery. So his birth name was William Clark Gable. Nicknames: Gabe, the King of Hollywood, Pa. When he was 7 months old, his mother died, and his father sent him to live with his maternal aunt and uncle in Pennsylvania, where he stayed until he was 2. His father then returned to take him back to Cadiz. At 16, he quit high school, went to work in an Akron, Ohio tire factory, and decided to become an actor after seeing the play The Bird of Paradise. He toured in stock companies, worked oil fields, and sold ties. His acting career then flourished. At one point, he refused an assignment, and the studio punished him by loaning him out to, at the time, a low-rent Columbia picture, which put him in Frank Capra's It Happened One Night in 1934, which won him an Academy Award for his performance. So take that. You loaded me out punishing me, and he wins an Academy Award.
It's funny that, like, you know, at one point it's like, oh yeah, Columbia Picture, the tiny studio.
Right.
And now it's like...
Well, and also, I don't know, you know, but back then it seems like the studios owned actors.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Instead of like now where they're kind of like free agents, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, a lot of actors still fall under contract for certain things.
Right, but I mean, I don't think they're tied to a certain studio, right? They have agents.
Yeah, but if they're under contract, they're under contract. So, like, so they'll sign a contract saying you're going to do this many movies for us. So then, like, a lot of times and stipulations will happen where someone's done 2 movies for them already, but they don't like the conditions they're working under, and they're like, well, you have one more movie, you got to work it, and then you'll typically get a movie out of that actor, actress that's not so great because it was a movie they didn't want to do in the first place.
Well, I guess it kind of goes back to Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense. Remember when he owed them a couple of Disney movies or whatever?
So that's a fancy way of saying he had a contract with him saying he would do X amount of movies.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying he's not exclusively...
And that's the same for...
But what I'm saying, he can go shoot, or whoever can go shoot for Paramount, but they can also go shoot for Columbia.
Oh, yeah, as long as they're not filming X movie. Yeah, exactly. So, like, all the characters who play all the Marvel movies, they're all in a contract. So, for example, all the, you know, original MCU actors, their contracts are all done.
Right.
So it's all the new characters in MCU have their contracts and stuff.
In 1960, Gable's wife Kay discovered that she was expecting their first child. In early November of 1960, he had just completed filming The Misfits in 1961 when he suffered a heart attack and died later that month. On November 16, 1960, Gable was buried shortly afterwards in the shrine that he had built for Carol Lombard and her mother when they died at Forest Lawn Cemetery. In March 1961, Kay Gable gave birth to a boy whom she named Clark Gable III after his father. He was married 5 times to Kay Williams, which they had 1 child. Sylvia Ashley, divorced. Carol Lombard until she died. Maria Franklin Gable, divorced. And Josephine Dillon, they were divorced. His trademarks: pencil-thin mustache that hugged his upper lip,
Ex-wives.
Often played a viral, lovable rogue whose gruff facade was only thinly masking a natural charm and goodness, distinctive, powerful voice, and his oversized ears. So here's some facts about Clark Gable. Just because he was such an interesting man, I wanted people to get to know him before they knew him in Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Check this one out. Adolf Hitler esteemed the film star above all other actors, and during the war offered a sizable reward to anyone who could capture and return Gable, who had enlisted in the Army Air Corps and was flying combat missions over Germany, unscathed to him. I mean,
wow.
That's got to say something about your acting if Adolf Hitler...
He went after so many odd things.
I know. It's crazy. It was at his 36th birthday party that Judy Garland sang, "Dear Mr. Gable, you made me love you." And you know what? It's also interesting that a lot of the movies we've talked about so far, they all intertwine somehow. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. One way or another.
I think that's pretty interesting, and we didn't even plan that. You know what I mean?
Right? It just happens. Small world.
When he was born, he was mistakenly listed as a female on his birth certificate. Oh, wow. Playing a cowboy in his last film, The Misfits, which was also the final film for co-star Marilyn Monroe, the aging Gable diligently performed his own stunts, or so they say.
Interesting. I will say that is one thing that I definitely feel my age, and that's like young age, not old age, but it's like I hear Misfits, I think of the band and not the movie.
Right. He was pictured on one of the 4 25-cent U.S. commemorative postage stamps issued on March 23, 1990, honoring classic films released in 1939. The stamp features Gable and Vivien Leigh as Rhett Butler and Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind. The other films honored were Beau Guest in 1939, Stagecoach in 1939, and The Wizard of Oz in 1939.
I love Stagecoach.
He was dyslexic, a fact that didn't emerge until several years after his death. Well, check this one out. Was Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster's inspiration for half of Superman's alter ego named Clark Kent.
That's awesome.
Kent came from Kent Taylor. I was like, that is really awesome.
That is awesome.
Had to have almost all of his teeth extracted in 1933 due to pyorrhea. The infection would have killed him had he not been rushed to a private hospital for treatment. In 1933, he underwent cosmetic surgery on his ears and his teeth. At the time of his death, his gun collection was valued at $500,000. He had a special gun room in his house filled with gold inlaid revolvers, shotguns, and rifles.
It's American as it gets.
On November 6, 1960, he was devastated to learn of the unexpected death of his close friend Ward Bond from a heart attack. Shortly afterwards, Gable himself suffered a massive heart attack and died 10 days later at the hospital. He attempted suicide using a high-powered motorbike following his wife Carol Lombard's death. On November 16, 1960, he sat up in his hospital bed while reading a magazine and suffered his fourth and final heart attack. He was dead within seconds, and attempts to revive him were unsuccessful.
Yeesh.
Wanted his headstone to read, "Back to Silence," but his widow wouldn't use it. On November 5th, 1960, he had his first heart attack when he was changing a tire on his Jeep. President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a close friend of his, sent him a message of support wishing him a speedy recovery. I mean, yeah, he's just friends with the president.
Why not?
He disliked his most famous film, Gone with the Wind, in 1939, which he regarded as a woman's picture.
I mean,
you know, it's funny that
I can see the label, but it's interesting that, you know, once again, we have an actor that was in a huge hit movie, and they're like, yeah, I didn't really like it.
Yeah, I didn't really care for it. He liked Westerns and once expressed his regret that he didn't make more of them. He and then future wife Carol Lombard first met in late 1924 while working as extras on the set of Ben-Hur, A Tale of Christ in 1925. Died on the first birthday of his granddaughter, Maria. Man, that's tragic.
Yeah.
In 1949, he served as pallbearer at the funeral of director Victor Fleming, whom he considers something of a father figure. Although discharged from the U.S. Army Air Force early in 1944, he refused to make another movie until the war had ended. Watched very little television except boxing matches.
Boxing was really fun to watch. Like, I'll still watch old boxing matches just because they're so entertaining.
Had a fear of flying and made all long journeys across America by train.
Yeah, that's definitely a long journey when you go by train instead of flying.
Yep. He was already good friends with Hattie McDaniel prior to their making of Gone with the Wind together and wanted her to play the part of Mammy. But it was her coming fully dressed and nailing the part that got her the coveted role. When it came time for the premiere on December 15, 1939, producer David O. Selznick attempted to bring along McDaniel. MGM advised him not to because of Georgia's strict segregation laws, which would have prevented McDaniel from being at the same function on equal basis with whites. Gable was so outraged, he told MGM he would not attend the premiere unless she was allowed to attend. Also, she eventually convinced him to attend without her. I mean, I like how he.
That says a lot about his character,
right?
And especially back then, it took a lot to speak out.
Exactly.
You know? So I mean, good on him.
But I don't like that she convinced him to go without her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish she would have went. You know, but
at the same time, I think it's the whole look, I don't want any trouble. If I go, it's gonna be weird, and people are not gonna want me there.
And it might devastate your career.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of different internal politics. I get it, but at the same time, that would have made a huge statement if she did. So,
and it is because of him. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He played the part of a newspaper reporter in 9 films, more than any kind of role he had. He wore lifts in his shoes to play Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind. I guess just to make him look taller.
At least he didn't need a mound of dirt.
Right. Yul Brynner. On February 8th, 1960, he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for his work in motion pictures located at 1608 Vine Street. He is also mentioned in the Three Stooges movie Maniacs in 1936. And here I wrote down some quotes because he's a man of a lot of words. He said, working with Marilyn Monroe on The Misfits in 1961 nearly gave me a heart attack. I have never been happier when a film ended.
So many people who have worked with her, just kind of felt the same.
But I don't know if she thought she was entitled to something just because she was a big movie star, or it's just the way she had been treated before by Hollywood that it made her that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that, and she was full-blown alcoholic and used drugs and stuff. So that contributes to probably an annoying factor.
He also said, I'm no actor and I never have been. What people see on the screen is me. The things a man has to have are hope and confidence in himself against odds, and sometimes he needs somebody, his pal or his mother or his wife or God, to give him that confidence. He's got to have some inner standards worth fighting for, or there won't be any way to bring him into conflict. And he must be ready to choose death before dishonor without making too much song and dance about it. That's all there is to it. It is an extra dividend when you like the girl you've fallen in love with. On playing Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind, I discovered that Rhett was even harder to play than I had anticipated. With so much of Scarlett preceding his entrance, Rhett's scenes were all climaxes. There was a chance to build up to Scarlett, but Rhett represented drama and action every time he appeared. He didn't figure in any of the battle scenes, being a guy who hated war, amid he wasn't in the toughest of the siege of Atlanta shots. When I was fighting for what to hold my own in the first half of the picture, which is all Vivien Leigh's, because I felt that after the scene with the baby Bonnie, Rhett could control the end of the film. That scene where Bonnie dies and the scene where I strike Scarlett and she accidentally tumbles down the stairs, thus losing her unborn child, were the two that worried me the most. Types really don't matter. I have been accused of preferring blondes, but I have known some mighty attractive redheads, brunettes, and yes, women with gray hair. Age, height, weight haven't anything to do with glamour. Which is, I like.
Yeah, no, I'm liking this guy.
I don't want a lot of strangers looking down at my wrinkles with my big fat belly when I'm dead. Because he didn't want a funeral. When I die, don't let them make a circus out of it. Method actors are like hams. If any child of mine becomes an actor, I will turn in my grave. And then I went ahead and wrote down the salaries by his movies. But what I did is I took his first movie, one in the middle, and then the one at the end. So Forbidden Paradise in 1924, he made $7.50 a day. In Gone with the Wind, he made $120,000. And then his last film, The Misfits, in 1961, he made $750,000 plus $58,000 for each week of overtime.
Okay.
I wish I got $58,000 for overtime.
Well, I mean, it's interesting when you said the first one. What was it?
$7.50
$7.50 a day. That's minimum wage out here, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. All right, Terrence, are you ready to jump into the unknown facts and trivia? Because this is gonna be a a longing.
Yeah, let's do it.
And before we get started, I am going to replace. There's a most famous thing that he says. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a. And I'm going to replace that curse word with hot dog, just so when we talk about it, you'll know that hot dog is another word for something we do not say on this podcast.
Yeah.
So here we go. Are you ready?
You can say something silly like doof.
Doof.
I don't give a doof.
Okay, doof it is. The fact that Hattie McDaniel would be unable to attend the premiere's racially segregated Atlanta outraged Clark Gable so much they threatened to boycott the premiere unless she could attend. He later relented when she convinced him to go. We've already talked about that. We've also talked about how she became the first African-American woman to be nominated for and win an Academy Award. This is the first color film to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. At nearly 4 hours long, this is the longest running of all motion pictures to win the prestigious Academy Award for Best Picture. Barbara O'Neill was only 28 when she appeared as Ellen O'Hara, Scarlett's mother. Vivian Leigh was 25 when she appeared as Scarlett, who is only 16 at the beginning of the film. So there's only 3 years different between the mom and...
Huh. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised. A lot of the times you get, younger actors... actors who look younger playing those younger roles.
At 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 32 seconds, Vivian Leigh's performance in this movie is the longest to ever win an Academy Award. So that's how much screen time she had out of the 3 hours. And
yeah, that's wow.
Margaret Mitchell personally approved of Vivian Leigh's interpretation of Scarlett. The horse that Thomas Mitchell rode was later Silver of the Lone Ranger in 1949, which I love. If box office receipts were adjusted for inflation, it would be the top grossing movie of all time. Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope would only be the second most successful movie of all time. According to the Guinness World Records homepage, the total gross in 2012 figures for Gone with the Wind would be $4,401,358,554.94 in 2012.
So much money.
I mean, wow. When Gary Cooper turned down the role of Rhett Butler, he was passionately against it. It is quoted as saying, "Gone with the Wind is going to be the biggest flop in Hollywood history, and I'm just glad it'll be Clark Gable who's falling on his face and not Gary Cooper." Boy, I bet he had to eat those words.
Right.
When Rhett pours Mammy a drink after the birth of Bonnie for a joke during a take, Clark Gable actually poured alcohol instead of the usual tea in the decanter without Hattie McDaniel knowing it until she took a swig.
That's funny.
So he's a prankster, too. Max Steiner was given only 3 months to compose the music, considering that 1939 was the busiest year of his career. In that year, he wrote the music for 12 films. In order to meet the deadline, Steiner sometimes worked for 20 hours straight and took benzodrine pills to stay awake. With almost 3 hours of music, Gone with the Wind had the longest film score ever composed up to that time.
Wow. When you were first reading that fact, I was like, that sounds like a lot of no sleep. And then, sure enough,
the drugs kicked in.
A lot of no sleep, yeah.
Vivian Leigh later said that she hated kissing Clark Gable because of his bad breath, rumored to be because of his false teeth, a result of excessive smoking. According to Frank Buckingham, a technician who observed the film being made, Gable would sometimes eat garlic before his kissing scenes with Vivian Leigh.
Just to really punch it home.
That's hilarious.
I will say, probably didn't even need the garlic. I remember when I was in training, we were doing a joint training with Army, and there was a staff sergeant who smoked like a chimney, and there was like zero mouth care to go with this chain smoking, so it just smelled like an old sitting out in the sun.
It got right in your face, didn't it?
He would. We were training. It was like very laid back, but still, he'd come up and be like, "You need anything?" And it's funny because he has the same last name as I do. He's like, "You need anything, Davis?" I'm like, "No, I really don't.
I need you to get away from me. Is what I need.
I got everything from here. I think they need help over there."
Olivia de Havilland, who had been the lone survivor of the 4 principal leads since the death of Vivian Leigh in 1967, was the only major cast member to live to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the picture's premiere on December 15, 2009. Ranks 4th as of 2017 in the Academy Awards Most Nominated Films list with 13 nominations.
Oh, what did the first do? I wonder.
I don't know.
To be like the most, and they had like, what, 10,
3.
right?
Yeah, they had 13.
13, okay. So then there's two other movies.
Three
other movies
ranked
that
fourth,
have more than. Wow. Okay. I'll have to find that out later.
You want to look that up?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay. So Vivien Leigh worked for 125 days and received about $25,000. Clark Gable worked for 71 days and received over $120,000.
Oh wow.
So there again, we go back to the unequal pay, like from The Wizard of Oz. The film has never been cut. Some theatrical re-releases and home video releases are longer because of the restored overture, intermission, interact, and exit music, not because any deleted scenes have been restored and added.
Okay. So that kind of answers the previous question we had a little bit, yeah.
Very few of the principal cast members liked the characters they were portraying. Clark Gable was introduced into accepting his role through arrangements to divorce his current wife and marry Carol Lombard. Rand Brooks, who played Scarlett's first husband, Charles Hamilton, was actually a rough outdoorsman who objected to play a wimpy character. Butterfly McQueen disliked the negative stereotype of her character. Leslie Howard felt he was too old for the role of Ashley Wilkes and complained that his costume made him look like a fairy doorman at a hotel. To add to the publicity, fans were asked to vote for the actress they think should play Scarlett. Out of hundreds of ballots cast, Vivien Leigh got only one vote.
Oh wow. Huh. So, okay, I found what movies topped Gone with the Wind.
And the Academy
and
Awards?
conveniently enough, they just named the top three. So the first one being Ben-Hur.
Great
The
movie.
1959 version, of course, because we're not even going to talk about the remake. Anyway, that won 15 awards. 15 categories available for nomination, nominated for 12. Titanic, 17 categories available for nomination, nominated for 14 out of 17. So I think they take into account how many are available and how many they got nominated for. So Ben-Hur was 12 out of 15, Titanic 14 out of 17, and then in third we have Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Nice.
11 out of 17. So that is very interesting.
Very interesting. Thank you for looking that up.
I didn't expect any
newer
of those
movie
three, or particularly Lord of the Rings. That one was left field. I do
Right.
see Titanic.
Ben-Hur was such a great movie, though.
And
I
yeah,
can see
it
that.
did. Yeah, absolutely.
Una Munson, who played brothel madam Belle Watling, considered the film a curse as she was continually typecast afterwards. So there we go with that typecast.
It happens.
I know. Reportedly, one of the reasons stated by David O. Selznick as why he fired George Cukor as director was that Cukor, a homosexual, would be unable to properly direct the love scenes between Rhett and Scarlett. Hence, he was replaced by macho director Victor Fleming. Although he was dismissed from the production, Cukor continued to privately coach both Vivien Leigh and Olivia de Havilland at their request on weekends, unbeknownst to both Selznick and Fleming.
Huh.
Which that shows a lot for his character too. That hey, even though I'm not on this film anymore, and you guys want me to help you, I'm going to help you.
It does, yeah. This is just a very unfortunate circumstance, but yeah, interesting fact.
The first scene to be shot was the burning of the Atlanta Depot, filmed on December 10, 1938. Wow, so it started in 1938 shooting. If there was a major mistake during the filming, the entire film might have been scrapped. They actually burned many old sets that needed to be cleared from the studio backlot, including ones from The Garden of Allah and the Great Wall set from King Kong. The fire cost over $25,000 and yielded 113 minutes of footage. It was so intense that the Culver City residents jammed the telephone lines thinking MGM was burning down. Scarlett was stunt doubled by Aline Goodwin and Lilla Finn, while Rhett was doubled by veteran stuntmen Yakima Canute and Jay Wisely. David O. Selznick begged Margaret Mitchell, author of the novel, to critique every aspect of their production. An intense private person, she gave one criticism of the facade of the design for Tara, which was ignored. Afterwards, she refused to comment on any aspect of the film during production. So he's asking her for help, and then doesn't even take her advice, so I guess she got mad. According to the newsreels, there was a handful of Confederate Civil War veterans who, though quite old, attended the premiere in Atlanta.
I'm not surprised.
But that's pretty cool, though.
But yeah, it's interesting.
The four principals were billed on the film's poster in this order: Clark Gable, followed by Leslie Howard and Olivia de Havilland, and then presenting Vivien Leigh. This changed when Leigh won the Oscar. As Vivian Leigh could not dance, she is doubled in all non-close-up shots by Sally DeMarco. It's amazing that she had so many doubles. You
Usually,
know what I mean? Usually you only have one.
They just teach you that. Like, even if you can't
Maybe they just
dance.
wasn't- maybe they wasn't
Well, I mean, I
time.
guess, yeah. I mean, with all the filming they had to knock out.
During filming, Vivian Leigh reportedly smoked 4 packs of cigarettes a day. Clark Gable smoked 3 packs a day throughout his career. The first rough cut in July 1934 ran 4.5 hours long,
Wow.
48 minutes longer than the final release.
Wow.
I can't imagine. Wow.
That editing room must have just been so
Well,
exhausted.
there's some notes in here about how much film was used. You're not going to believe that. For the premiere in Atlanta in December 15, 1939, the governor declared a state holiday. Ticket prices for the premiere were 40 times the usual going rate. 40
Wow.
times.
Jeez.
There's ambiguity over exactly when Vivian Leigh was contracted to play Scarlett O'Hara. One theory holds that David O. Selznick had already secretly signed her for the role as early as February 1938, and that the nationwide search for Scarlett O'Hara, during which thousands of dollars were spent testing aspiring actresses for the part, was actually a well-orchestrated publicity stunt on Selznick's part to keep alive interest in the very expensive film he did not yet have the money to produce. Supposedly, Selznick realized that the American audience might have difficulty accepting a British actress in such an important American role. Therefore, he made it look as though Leigh was discovered spontaneously during the filming of The Atlanta Fire, which she happened to be visiting together with Laurence Olivier, with whom she was having an affair with at the time. Another interesting story is that Selznick's brother, Myron Selznick, an agent, introduced Leigh to David during the filming of The Atlanta Fire and said, "David, meet your Scarlett O'Hara." The truth of the matter is actually unknown and may never be resolved. Out of the 1,400 actresses interviewed for the part of Scarlett O'Hara, only 400 were asked to do readings. Which is, I mean, why they just look at them and say, yeah, you can go on. In a March 1939 newspaper article, David O. Selznick was reported to be considering producing this film as 2 films, as it was felt that the novel was far too long and complex to be successfully made into a single motion picture for the time. Olivia de Havilland always meticulously researched her roles. As she had not yet had a baby in real life, she visited a maternity hospital to study how various women coped with the stress of childbirth for the scene where Melanie has her baby. Off camera, the scene's director, George Cukor, would occasionally pinch her toes to make her feel pain.
That's funny.
Super macho director Victor Fleming wanted Scarlett for at least once in the film to look like his hunting buddy Clark Gable's type of woman. So, when wearing the stunning low-cut burgundy velvet dress with rhinestones that Scarlett wears to Ashley Wilkes' birthday party in the second half of the film, to achieve the desired cleavage for Fleming, Walter Plunkett had to tape Vivian Leigh's breasts together.
Wow. Also, just when it comes to what was the beginning of that sentence? It triggered a thought.
Super
there.
macho director Victor.
So yeah, is that title permanently attached to his name?
It must be. It must be like the man's
Super
man.
macho. Like I just imagine this like old timey like bodybuilder looking dude. Like,
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
After the film finished shooting, there were 88 hours of footage.
oof.
88 hours.
Poor editing room.
Can you imagine watching that movie?
Oh,
wow.
The 88 hours.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The character of Ashley Wilkes was based on Margaret Mitchell's cousin by marriage, John Doc Holliday. Melanie was based on Mitchell's third cousin and Doc's first cousin and close friend Maddie's sister, Melanie Holliday. Doc moved west and became the gambler and gunfighter of Gunfight at the OK Corral fame. Maddie joined a convent and became a nun, but maintained a correspondence with Doc, who died of tuberculosis in 1887, 13 years before Margaret Mitchell was born. So they got a lot of ties into some other things.
Yeah.
Anne Rutherford got a call at 3 a.m. to be on location to pick cotton for a scene. She was licking the blood off her fingers when picking the cotton. David O. Selznick came by to check on her. She showed him the blood. He said, "Good, good."
What the heck?
Because I guess to get the actual,
Yeah,
kills.
yeah.
1 month after the book was published, David O. Selznick purchased the movie rights from Margaret Mitchell for an unprecedented $50,000. At the time, it was the highest sum that had ever been paid for the author's first novel. Realizing he had underpaid Mitchell. Selznick gave her an additional $50,000 as a bonus when he dissolved Selznick's International Pictures in 1942.
I mean, at least he came back and went, "Hey, you know what? You deserve way more from this role." And
he basically paid her twice.
Yeah.
So I that's very nice of him. Some people would just been like, "Hey, sorry about your luck." And it was her first novel.
Yeah.
Vivien Leigh wasn't happy with Victor Fleming's brusque style after the careful nurturing she had enjoyed with George Cukor. When she asked him for direction in one scene, he told her, "Ham it up." On another occasion, when she asked for constructive advice, he told her to take the script and stick it up her Royal British doof, if you will. After Cukor's departure, Leia had to fight hard to keep the movie Scarlet true to her view. Fleming's interpretation of her was that she was out and out doof, as in the novel, and that he had no desire to create any sympathy or insight for her. Okay, so the early scene where Mammy reprimands Scarlet for not eating is one of the few remaining in the final film shot by original director George Cukor. So they did keep some of his work in there. A leading contender for Scarlett O'Hara in this film was Katharine Hepburn, but she lost out, but later served as maid of honor at Vivien Leigh's and Laurence Olivier's wedding.
Interesting.
David O. Selznick asked Alfred Hitchcock, see how these all tie together?
Yeah.
For help with the scene in which the women wait for the men for the raid of Shantytown and Melanie reads David Copperfield. Hitchcock delivered a precise treatment complete with description of shots and camera angles. He wanted to show Rhett, Ashley, etc. outside the house dodging the Union soldiers. He also wanted an exchange of meaningful glances between Melanie and Rhett inside the house. Virtually nothing of this treatment was used. I was like,
So they asked Alfred
people,
Hitchcock.
and he set the whole thing up for them.
Wow. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I guess you don't get 88, was it 88 hours?
Yeah, film
Of film and not have stuff like that.
But I would love to see that. I'd love just to see what he would have brought to the thing. When Scarlett searched for Dr. Meade, making her way among 1,600 suffering and dying Confederate soldiers to cut costs and still comply with the Union rule that dictated the use of a certain percentage of extras in the cast, 800 dummies were scattered among 800 extras. According to the documentary The Making of a Legend, Gone with the Wind, in 1988, in addition to saving money, the use of dummies was partially used because there was not enough extras available due to the fact that 4 other films requiring a lot of extras were filming the same day.
I didn't even think about that. Because, I mean, nowadays it's so easy to impose more people via, CGI or whatever, right? Or like a trick they'll do is if you have like large armies and like big scale war scenes, they just copy and paste all the people. But back in the day, they didn't have that luxury of doing that, so you needed a lot of extras, or in this case, extras and dummies, which is cool.
Neither Clark Gable nor Leslie Howard wanted to be in the film. Howard didn't even bother to read the original novel. While directing the scene where Prissy says, "Oh, Miss Scarlett, I don't know nothing about birth and babies," director George Cukor told Vivien Leigh to actually slap actress Butterfly McQueen, who played Prissy, and to make it as realistic as possible, and directed McQueen to scream. After many takes, McQueen broke down into tears, complaining that Leigh was hitting her too hard. In a later interview, McQueen said that she bargained with the others, stating that if Leigh hit her, she would not scream. But if Lee's hand only passed close to her face with the illusion of hitting her, she would scream as loudly as she could. McQueen also giggled and said that she thought Prissy should have been slapped often because she was horrid. So, prominent Atlanta preacher Martin Luther King Sr., father of Martin Luther King, was invited to the Coalition Ball held in Atlanta at the film's premiere. He had been urged to boycott the festivities by other community leaders because none of the black actors in the film were allowed to attend. King Sr. attended because he was invited and brought along his famous son with him.
Interesting.
I mean, and it's just, you wonder why he was invited. Maybe because he was a prominent figure in the community.
Yeah.
But other people weren't allowed to attend. You know what I mean? The premiere was held in Atlanta, Georgia on December 15, 1939. It was reportedly the first time that David O. Selznick had even been to the South. After Scarlet returns to a vandalized Tara, digs up a radish in the garden, then retches and gives her famous "As God is my witness" line. The vomiting sounds were actually looped by Olivia de Havilland. One version of the story is that Vivien Leigh could not produce a convincing enough retching sound. Another version is that Leigh would not make the retching sound because it simply was not ladylike. And the in-track music is played entirely on a Nova chord, the first use of an electronic synthesizer in a Hollywood feature film.
So the interesting part, okay, so the ladylike part, I just find that interesting, seeing as in the movie, one of the things that attracts Rhett to Scarlet is she has these unladylike moments, and he's like, that's the part I like.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we know that this is a long movie, and we thought about it. We were going to have an intermission and just keep going, but I think we're going to break it down into 2 parts, this being the end of part 1. So we are getting ready to record, we might even do it tomorrow, the second part of this, which will be just strictly facts and our opinions, the rest of the facts and opinions, because there's Terrence looked and there's still a stack of pages in front of me. So much pages in front of me. So I'll get this one out, and we will record the other one tomorrow morning or whatever, and we'll release it too. So this is part 1 of Gone with the Wind, and we will give the special announcement tomorrow as well as our opinions and where you can find us. If you have any questions between now and then, thetragedyofcinema@gmail.com. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, TuneIn, and Podbean. So with that being said, I think that's a wrap on part 1 of Gone with the Wind.
Part 1.
And that's a wrap.
Cut.